Hello, my name is Leanna Cromwell, and this is my informative speech. What does New Kids on the Block, splatter paint jeans, jelly shoes, shoulder pads, and big hair all have in common? Well, they all originated in the glorious decade that was the 80s. I was born in the month of August in the year 1989. Even though the 80s were winding down, there were still a lot of major events going on at the time. Political and social happenings, as well as major scientific and local events, were taking major spotlight. The 80s was a time of change and exploration, both physically and socially. It is hard to forget some of the 80s fads and fashions that we saw, especially now that some of them are starting to come back. In August of 1989, the TV show Saved by the Bell was just being released on NBC. This TV show followed a ragtag group of 6 high school students from Bayview High School in California. In this group, there was the jock, the nerd, the popular girl, and a few others. This show ran for 4 seasons and finished in 1993. You can still see some reruns of this show today. Popular music from the 1989 were Prince's Bat Dance, Richard Marx's Right Here Waiting, and also Motley Crue's hit Dr. Feelgood was just being released. Some sad local events also happened in 1989 in the month of August. On August 3rd, 1989, Lincoln Park native Lawrence DeLeese drove his Ford station wagon into the Detroit River in Wyandotte. Inside the car was his wife and 4 young children. DeLeese said at the time that he suffered a leg cramp, which caused him to step on the accelerator and drive the car into the river. Authorities did not believe his story. DeLeese said after his accident, the gas pedal had gotten stuck and he could not release it. Sadly, his 4 children drowned, but his wife and himself were able to escape. The trial took 8 days in downtown Detroit, and DeLeese was found guilty of 4 charges of first-degree murder and 1 charge of attempted murder against his wife. He is now serving life in prison in Coldwater, Michigan. In political news, Colin Powell was appointed chairman to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Powell was the first African American to be appointed to this position by then-President George W. Bush Sr. This position is the highest position you can achieve in the Department of Defense. Colin Powell held this position for a few months into Clinton's regime as well, even though many of us know him and Clinton did not agree on everything. NASA in August of 1989 was also doing quite well for itself. On August 25th, 1989, NASA's Voyager 2 space probe made its closest pass to the planet Neptune. This probe came within 3,000 miles above the gas planet. With this close-up pass, NASA was able to achieve greater information on this planet in regards to its mass. And also, they were able to notice that Neptune had 6 additional moons and 4 rings, just like the other gas planets. NASA also was able to discover that Neptune had a storm spot. This was called the Great Storm Spot, and it also, like Jupiter, had very strong wind speeds, but Neptune's wind speeds were the fastest in the solar system. With new discoveries from space to sad stories of lives taken too soon, the 80s paved the way for decades to come. In August, the year of 1989, was preparing us for what was to come in the future. As 1989 was the ending of an era, many of us beloved the 1980s, although we don't always like to admit it. We have all heard the famous saying from the classic VH1 and find it to be true. I love the 80s. How about you? Thanks.
Oh, bravo. Come on, faster.
Faster.
Thank
There you
you.
go.